All right, welcome back. It's Q3, week 6, day 2. We are going to slice you up. You are a UV butcher today. So the goal for today is to actually take your model and slice up into the UV parts that we need. Now we're going to slice it up and it's going to be a mess, and we're not going to worry too much about layout and stuff like that because we're going to do that tomorrow. So initially what we just want to do is sort of make sure we lay everything out. So today should be relatively short, so if you finish early you can move on to the next day. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our model. So here's the model. Now every time I make this video I always do everything twice, which is somewhat frustrating, but whatever. This model that we're using today is not the best one. But yours may not be in great shape either, so we'll just take it from there. So you did the turbo smoothing last time, so I kind of left everything on. You should have all of this stuff still here. Go ahead and take the turbo smooth and delete it. Take the symmetry modifier and delete it. Actually, you can also check something. I noticed on this model in particular, I have this issue right here. Do you see that? Ugh, it's the worst. I have two of my vertices are off center line. So when you actually added the modifier and stuff, you could see that it was not very pretty. I had some weird sort of problem with my chin. See that? So if you have any of your vertices off center like this, you're going to want to fix that too. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to get rid of the symmetry modifier, so I'm going to delete it. Okay, and then I'm going to go and grab these pieces here, or those verts, excuse me. So I'm going to hit the number 1 to grab verts, grab all of these that were the problem. Make sure I didn't get any that I didn't want, like, yeah, some of these I didn't exactly want. I could probably leave them there. This one, I want to move that one back. So I'll move that over, and then I'm going to grab all of those again. So front, zoom in, grab all of these on the center line, try to get just those, and then squeeze them together, hit W, and then right click down here. So now they're all on the center line. If I add the symmetry modifier now, which I might as well, just for giggles, oops, SYM, there we go, enter. It should be better. Cool, and it is better, and that's great. Once again, you can also check for some problems or any sort of issues that you have, and clean those up now, because you're not going to want to have to mess with those later. Another thing that I noticed as I was rebuilding this already was that as we added loops, we added a whole bunch of n-gon. So I'm going to delete my symmetry modifier now. Delete, and then I'm going to go ahead and select faces. And I'm going to get rid of any n-gons that I find. So select faces, and then come up here to selection, up here, numeric greater than 4, of course, click there. So when you do that, you see all of the n-gons that you've created. Okay, now most of these came when we were working on our smoothing, our turbo smoothing. And we can fix a lot of these by grabbing multiple vertices and then welding them together. So I can weld these. I probably don't need to crank the settings that high. Probably something more along the lines of 0.1. And then we'll crank it until they pop together. There. That's good. These are okay. If you wanted to, you could grab them and weld them back together. Same thing with this. I don't really need this, and because they're far enough apart, I can just select them and then weld them, and then they snap right together. I think we had some n-gon issues here too. I'm probably going to have to keep jumping in and out to check to make sure that looks. Oh, yep, there it is. So you can also target weld. It's a viable option. Target weld through there. We got tries there. And I think I had another problem over here. Yep, target weld there. Okay. So that sort of eliminates those N-gons. And we just keep going through numeric, select, boom, double check the foot again, make sure all of those are gone. Also, I noticed some people as they were working have really skinny feet. Make sure you fix that. Alright, here's a bigger problem that I had earlier that I noticed. It's an N-gon. There's not really a great way to get rid of this. I could take this edge here and this edge, connect them, and then grab this vertex and connect them. So what that does is that gives me quads and quads. So that sort of eliminates the problem, and then we can reshape that a little bit so it's not quite so square. There we go. Good. Cool. Now once again, go back to my polygon and double check to make sure I got rid of everything. Alright, that part's good. Now, this is kind of a mess. Once again, all of these N-gons were introduced as I was doing the turbo smoothing. So to fix them, I basically need to go through and select things like that and weld them together. Cool. Like, oops, what happened? Select that. There. Same thing here. A lot of these are just easy fixes. Weld. I may end up having to do these a little more. Helps if I have two of them. There we go. Okay, let's see. In order to get the turbo smoothing on my ear, we did a lot of ear manipulation that looks really bad when it's not turbo smooth. I think what we're going to do is revert back to making sure it looks good here. Now the back looks fine, but realistically the inside here needs some work. So let's go ahead and go to numeric, select, and look at these. If we hit F3, we can see through this and sort of see where the problems are. Now some of this stuff got really weird and I'm not quite sure how, but you may have had the exact same problem, so we're going to work on it together. I'm just going to sort of pop some of these together that are close together anyway, and then see if that cleans up my problems. I can actually take that. I'm going to take this and move it back a little bit. Take that one, move it forward a little bit. Same thing with this and this. Alright. So from here to here, this is kind of a problem that I think we can fix by adding another loop, or not adding necessarily a loop, but we could, instead of having this work here, I could put another point here, and that would work to make this functional, or I could just connect those two. That also works. It gives me a try, which is not an N-gon. F3, numeric, select, clean. This part. So I think I'm going to connect these two pieces. Target weld from there to there. That should fix that problem. It looks like it might be an internal issue. Yeah. We're dealing with vertices that are once again, this is sort of an individual issue. You may or may not have this issue or these problems, and that's okay. If you don't, that's actually preferable. But if you did, these are some ways how to fix it. I'm going to take that, move it down a little bit, and maybe move forward a little bit. So now we can see where our problems are. I think this looks like it's going to be an issue too. Target weld. Once again, this was an effort to get our ear to be a little better looking. F3 so I can see through it. There. And then hit W, grab that. Alright, let's see. F3, numeric. See what we're missing. Okay. So these can be connected. These can be connected. That should probably fix that. And now all that's left is that one. And that is the connection point there. There we go. Alright, let's look at it again. Numeric. Good. Those are fixed. This is also a problem from before. We can take this and target weld it. And this and target weld it. And then we may have to move those out a little bit so they're not quite so wonky. There. Check again. I think those problems are fixed. All right. Numeric. All right, so the face is all fixed. Once again, this is the same sort of issue. The collar in particular, in order to get that sharp collar, we did a lot of work there. It's best to, I think we're just going to decide to keep one edge, one sharp edge, and then once we're done with the UV, we can add in that stuff again. So I'm going to target weld from there to there, from there to there, from there to there. And all of this needs to come together like that. From here to here. Now, this poly, we can keep it or we can leave it. I think I'm going to target weld that to there, this to here. That way it's like one simple fix. All of these have to come together. And once again, if you get down into your neck and you can't see things, you're going to have to just go back into F3 so you can see stuff. Alright, so that edge comes out from there. I'm going to take most of these and weld these together. Target weld from there to there. There to there. Same sort of situation. We're going to decide what corner is going to be the corner and build it from there. So this is our sharp edge, and we're going to connect that to that, and then this will be our primary corner, like that. F3. So that splits apart, but all of this can really be welded together. I'm going to use W to move this down a bit. this up a bit like that. All right. Hopefully that will work. Let's see what we've got. Numeric greater than 4. Now I hit Z to zoom in on anything, and if it doesn't, and it zooms in to just everything in general, then you're in pretty good shape. Okay? Alright, great. So, now we're ready to start slicing. Before we ever start slicing and before you UV, you always want to make sure you reset your transforms. That is absolutely crucial. If you don't reset your transforms, you're going to have a really difficult time unwrapping things and relaxing them. So you're going to go into the hammer, which is your utilities, reset transform, reset selected. All right, you'll notice some shading changes, and what I've noticed sometimes is I get this sort of situation where I can collapse all, yes, and then I need to select and make sure that my model is properly flipped. So you should hit Control A, and if it's sort of a dark color, like a dark maroon versus like a bright, see how it's bright on the inside? That means I've got back faces facing outward. My normals are flipped. If you select ignore back facing and you try and click on it, you can't select this front. Okay? So if that happens, turn off ignore back facing, select everything, and then you're going to flip it. Notice how it turns a lot brighter. That means you're in good shape. So once that's done, I'll move that in a little bit and maybe down a little bit. If you have any last tweaks, now's your chance to do it, because once we get into UVing, it's kind of set, and you're not going to have a whole lot of ability to mess with things afterwards. Because when you mess with things after UV, sometimes it throws the UV way off, and then you cry because you have a lot of work that then you need to redo. So, like I said, if you got any last minute tweaks, go ahead and pause the video, do your tweaking, and then come back when you're ready. Alright, cool. So let's say you did some tweaks. Once again, reset your transforms. So reset selected. Alright, collapse all. Alright, now I'm not going to mess with it anymore. From the front view. Now, we're not going to copy or do a symmetry modifier on this yet. We're going to lay everything out. Then we're actually going to slice everything, and that'll be the end of today. And then tomorrow we're going to lay everything out so that it's laid out in a logical way. And then next week we're actually going to do the symmetry and make sure anything that needs to be symmetrical is overlapped, and then anything that's not, we can keep the way it is. Now, if you're doing a normal map, you're not going to be able to overlap things. For today, I think we're going to avoid normal mapping. Just because we're kind of at the point where I think we need to just get this thing done. So let's go ahead and add the modifier, unwrap UVW. So I just type UN when I hit the modifier, and now I can go into the open UV editor. Now you'll see that it is a train wreck in here, and that's okay because that's how it always starts. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start thinking about what pieces I want to make contiguous, which means connected. So I'm going to select polygons here. And the first things first, let's go ahead and work with a face because it's kind of the hardest. Let's get the eyeball because that's pretty easy. Grab any one of these vertices, and we're going to use plus. So just type plus, 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 plus. All right, great. You have grabbed the entire eyeball. Now, we are going to planar map that from the front. So I'm going to hit planar map, and from the front would be Y. We're going to open up the UV editor, and there it is. I double click polygon and then move it out of the way. And we're going to continue doing that. Alright, we'll keep coming back to this in a second. Let's do the rest of the face. I'm going to grab, actually let's do the mouth because it's kind of a pain. I'm going to grab the mouth, the inside portion of the mouth here, and I'm going to grow it once and see where it's done. Alright, I'm going to grab these pieces. All I want is the inside of the mouth. Alright. I don't think I even want the bottom or like inside portion of the lips. I just want like the inside red gooey part of the mouth. Yep, I think that's right. So from the front, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm actually going to planar map that on Y. Alright, which is from the front. This will make more sense in a little bit. So that's that. Bring up our UV window again. Grab it. I'm going to move it out. I'm not going to worry about relaxing anything because I kind of want to just relax everything at the same time. So we're not going to worry about relaxing it yet. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the ear, at least the inner portion of the ear, and I'm going to grow that. This is going to be a little more tricky. I'm going to grow that out. Get there. I'm going to grow it again. And maybe one more time. I'm going to deselect these because I want that to be part of the face. So I should have the ear. Alright, cool. Yep, I have just the ear. That's pretty good. Alright, I'm going to planar map that from Z. I mean, X, sorry. Z would be from the top. That would be terrible. We want it from the X, which is the side. So let's open our UV editor again. There it is. And we can sort of tell it's the ear, so I'm not too worried about that. Bring that down there again. Alright, now I'm going to grab the rest of the main part of the face. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to hold control and I'm grabbing things. Now you'll notice I grab the eye and I'll probably end up grabbing the ear and the neck. Anything fleshy. I don't want hair, if I can avoid it. I don't really even need the neck yet because I think I'm going to do that separately. I think that's going to be hair. Yeah, I think that's all hair. So I just want ear, behind the ear, that ring, but not that, because that's actually part of the ear. Oops, not that. You, and obviously I'm holding control to add to my selection, and I hold alt to not to deselect things. So now you notice I've got all this stuff, right? I'm going to stick with just the face, so I'm going to not grab that neck stuff. Any of that or that. I just want the face. If we do too much, it will be too streaky and too stretchy. Now, I did grab the mouth, at least parts of it, and I did grab the nose and the nostrils and stuff, and I don't want that. So actually, I'm going to go in the nostril and deselect the nostril parts. Alright, good. And then for the eyeball, the way I'm going to deselect that is I'm actually going to deselect it up here. See, I've got all these pieces, but I don't want any of this eyeball stuff or the mouth stuff. So I can just hold Alt and select here, and it deselects all that stuff. So I should just have what I want. Now obviously it's a train wreck right now, and it's connected to a bunch of stuff. But I'm going to planar map that from best angle. So planar map and then use this like best alignment. That's going to go from the side. Now if I open this up and double click, I have the face that I can basically move over there. Cool. So you can see I'm just sort of bringing this stuff out and around. I'm not worrying too much about how it looks yet. Oh, notice I have that. It's okay. I'm going to grab this again. Actually, I'm going to click here and hold and grab that all the way through there. That and that. You can see it from the inside. I'm going to grow it once. And that worked out almost perfectly for me. I think I'm going to keep it there. I think that's where I'm going to leave this. So I'm getting the neck and the top part of the flesh color. Anything that's going to be fleshy. I'm going to planar map that from best alignment again. And I'm going to bring this out and move it over here. Perfect. Once again, I've got this section. I'm not worried about exactly where things are laying out. I just want to make sure I know all my head pieces are in one spot. Okay? Cool. I can't forget my nostril. got all this stuff. This is not a big deal at all. I'm just going to plane wrap that from best alignment. And once again, I don't care too much about that. It's going to be very small, but for now, we'll just leave it up there. All right, so our face is basically started, right? I should, to double check, open up my UV. I'm going to select all of this and see if I've got it all. I think I've got all my face parts. Looks pretty good. Oh, there's this stuff here. So what I want here is I'm going to grab the face again. You can select this button down here to select my element. Grab the entire element and then undo. And then I'm going to also hold and get this part too. Go to face, grab. I want to get that cone to make sure I have the entire thing. And then I'm going to best align again. Planar wrap, best align. I think that was better. Double click, move it over. Cool. All right, great. The face is the hardest part because there's so many little pieces. Now we're going to move, actually the collar's kind of a pain. All right, so now we're going to move on to the collar. I'm going to just grab the top portion of the collar. Oops. This section too. And it'll probably be tough to get in back there. I think I've got it all. Good. Now I'm going to grow it and then deselect any of this neck piece that I don't want. The reason I grow it is because it's a little bit easier for me to select things like that, and I know that I'm getting all the pieces I want. Like I might have missed part of this back section before, but I know I didn't miss it again. I'm going to grow it again and then deselect pieces I don't want. Oh, that piece. Can I get... Nope. This ignore back facing, I'm going to turn that off so I can get that. Alright, now I should have all of the collar, the entire section, along with some more stuff that I don't want. But I should have just the collar. I'm going to planar map that from Z, planar map from Z. Open my UV editor because I must have closed it. There's the collar and all of its weird looking weirdness. I'm going to move it down in a different spot than the face, and because that's going to be part of the shirt section. And you want to keep these pieces together, the pieces that are going to be similar color. So we know the shirt's going to be all basically the same color, so I can safely assume that all of these pieces will be the same. Yeah, careful on this. Okay. Belt. We have a lot of extra loops in the belt. Belt loops. Get it? Haha. We want to make sure we don't get too many of those. I'm going to go ahead and grab all of these pieces at the same time. Deselect these so that I can, if I grow it twice, that will grow through the shirt and then into the belt loop, but it'll also give me the corner here, which is what I want. This inside portion I don't care about. I'm going to make that very small and or hidden, so I don't care. But I do need to make sure I get rid of any collar pieces. So I'm going to go in the UV editor again and deselect collar pieces that were hard to get earlier and neck pieces that I didn't want. And now I should be able to planar map that from Y, which is the front, and I can move it out of the way. Now from here, I'm not sold on necessarily the best way to do this. I like to put seams because we can't leave it the way it is. That's a given. However, it's kind of up to you where you put the seams. A real shirt usually has a seam around the I don't know, shoulder here and a seam on the side. So those are safe places to put the seams. So I can say, okay, I know I'm going to have a seam through here. I'm going to turn off back facing for now so I don't accidentally select something. And we can say there's going to be a seam here, sort of. Once again, I'm just selecting things like a shirt would actually have. And a shirt would have a seam that runs through here, underneath, usually. Not always. T-shirts don't necessarily have it. Alright, so notice I'm selecting edges now so that I can split it. I also, I'm going to add a seam along the top because once again, that's where seams usually are, right through here. Hopefully you have an edge that runs in a similar manner. So what I've done is I've sort of set up locations where I'm going to break the geometry, alright, which is right here, break. Now I can grab sections of it. I should be able to get sections. If not, that means they're still connected somewhere. And I'm willing to bet that this is actually connected in there. Yep. Alright, what are you doing here? There we go. Where are we? That should be part of the collar. So, oh, that's the connection, the belt. If I break that, I think that'll be all I need to keep this separate. Yep, that was it. Okay, cool. So now I've got the front and the back. You can see there's the entire back portion, there's the entire front portion, and that's the sleeve. Now, the sleeve, I already put a seam in there for when we actually want to break it. So that's fine. You could hope maybe your seams are better or worse, who knows. But basically for now, I'm not too worried about how they're going to lay out because we're going to do that tomorrow. We're going to like relax everything tomorrow. And for now, it's kind of a good start. Okay. Cool. Right now we're worried just about slicing. I'll turn back facing back off. Grab all that. Actually, I'm going to grab this stuff on the inside, this ring around the inside of the shirt, because we need to figure out what we're going to do with it. It's not an important piece, as a matter of fact, it's very unimportant, but we need to figure out where it's going to, where that's going to go. I'm going to expand that out, and then I'm going to deselect this. Oops. Deselect, I said. Okay, cool. So I've got all that inside stuff. I'm going to... I can planar map it, I suppose, from best angle. And that'll give me like a donut. And grab that and move it. Once again, we do not care about the inside of the shirt because it's going to be hidden most of the time. No one's ever going to see it. So I'm not concerned about that at all. However, this section I'm very concerned about. We're going to expand that until it gets all the way into the same place where we reached there, and this I'm going to cylindrical map. And we're going to need to do a lot of work when it comes to how that hands work. So when I hit cylindrical map, I'm going to go along the x-axis. You could go best align too, that's not terrible. And then I'm going to hit E, and I'm going to try and rotate this so that the seam is along the back part of the elbow. You can see the green rotating there. All right. I also preferably would like to run along the side of the fingers, but that may not be an option. For now, I'm just going to try and get it to the back elbow. Oh, look what I missed. Be careful about that. Cylindrical map. Best align. E for rotate. Rotate it so it's all on that back elbow. Alright, it's going to look like a mess, and that's okay. Once you have that, we'll move that out. Now, when it comes to the hands, once again, we are going to sort of look at it from the front. Look at just the hands. I'm going to try and get just the top part of the hands. I'm going to expand it out. I just want the top section. Like that. There we go. So, like I said, I'm working on this. So, good. All right. Got that set up. We're trying to get just along the side. So I want all of this top section. We're going to split the hand in half, top and bottom, and then we're going to slice along the side of the fingers down to the top, or down to the middle of the side of the fingers, as you can see what I'm sort of laying out. Make sure you get all of it. I don't want any of this. I do want that. This can be tricky. You don't want to miss any pieces here. Also, this portion of the palm can be very difficult to get to where you're happy with it. Every time I've done this one, I've sort of changed the way I do it. I'm going to leave that section like that, which is kind of weird, but it's okay. Alright, so I think I've got the top portion of the hand separated off. I am going to take this. It's like I said, this part's weird because I want it to lay out so that I have the thumb and the thumbnail like in a spot where I can see it easily. So it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna lay out a little weird. The nature of the thumb is kind of weird. Alright, that should be good. We're gonna end up welding them along this seam, but for now, I'm going to planar map that from Z. Alright, you'll notice I get a hand shape, which is good. I'm gonna drag that over. Now I'm gonna take all of this section. Make sure you don't have the select by element toggle. I'm gonna grab all that, which should be everything on the bottom, and planar map that from Z as well. Alright, cool. Alright, good. So our hands are basically done. Cool. Our shirt's done. Now, belt. Belt's easy. I'm going to grab this section here. You might be able to marquee select. And then what I'm going to do is look at the geometry. I've got these couple rings, so I'm going to grow it twice. And that's all the further I'm going to go. Once I've got that done, I can planar map. I'm sorry, cylindrical map from Z, because that'll give me a cylinder along the top. Fit center. And that should be enough. Take that. It'll look a little weird. When we relax it, it'll be okay though. Grab that, move it down. Alright, we are in the home stretch. Alright, now, pants. I'm going to grab all this bottom stuff. Make sure I'm going to hit F3 to align this so I can get that. Grab all of that, hit F3 again. Add more to it. More to it. Now I've got, once again, all these extra loops at the bottom. I got to be careful though, because I don't want to get too much. Oops. I meant to alt select that. Okay, cool. So there you go. That's that section. I'm going to, the reason I did that is so that I can hit this plus button twice, which will give me these two. 1, 2, and it also expands from the other side. It gives me those two. So notice it goes all the way to the green line. That's the important part. And once again, this is a cylindrical map from Z because the cylindrical is up and down. If you want, you could do best alignment, and that could work pretty well. And that should be okay. It does seem to have turned it upside down, I think. Yeah, it's weird. It's upside down. That's okay. So those are our pants, our upside down pants. We want to cylindrical map that best align, and then change your rotation to local. So you're rotating it along its own axis. And then I'm going to rotate it so that the green seam is on the inside. It did not work because I wanted local and I did not select it. Okay, cool. So the green seam is on the inside. Just like the seam of your pants should be usually on the inside of your leg. Sometimes you'll have one on the outside too, but the inside is the one we like more. Alright, once you rotate it around so it's roughly on the inside, you're in good shape. Move it out of the way. I put it below the belt. This shirt piece is going over here. This was the inside of the shirt, so it's staying over here with the other shirt pieces. This is all pants stuff. Okay, cool. Now, same sort of thing here. I'm going to grab this because it's easy to get. Expand it. Expand it again. And if I have any of the shoe piece, I'm going to get rid of it because I want the shoe separately. Cool. I'm going to planar map that from Z, which will give me another donut. That goes down here. Looks like I missed one of the edges, a big edge. Planar map from Z, same thing. Double click, move it down with the pants. Alright, shoes. Shoes. Grab that. I'm going to expand it once. Should give me all of the top portion of the shoe. Planar map that from Z because I'm looking down on it. And get that down below the shoes. Same sort of thing here. Now this, I'm going to grab the sole here. I'm going to expand that out by 1. That should give me most of the bottom of the shoe. If there's any pieces missing, I can go through and double check to make sure I have them. Like those. I just want the bottom because then I'm going to planar map that from Z. Grab it, get it out. Now, theoretically, all that's left should be that. But looks like I've missed something somewhere. Oh, my head. I deselect the shoe. I forgot the head. Let's do that. Hopefully I have just this part. It looks pretty good. Looks like I have just what I want. Once again, I'm going to planar map that from best alignment. Look here, and I'm going to move that over by the head stuff. What are you? Those are my lips. I'm going to grab element, select this so I have all of that, and then do the same thing again that I did before. Planar map from best alignment. Now I've got the lips attached to the rest of the face. Good. Now I should, at this point, be able to select this and just have the shoes and nothing else. Which it looks like that's what I have, which is great. So now I can cylindrical map that from Z, which gives me a cylinder around the outside of the shoe. Alright. Which is pretty good. Select that. Move it down below the shoe, and that's it. We have all of our pieces. Now, I shouldn't have anything out of whack. Alright. Now, all the pieces are still kind of jumbled mess, but that's a good start. Okay? So, that's where we're going to stop here. You've got all of your pieces laid out and ready to model, or ready to relax. So we've got the face pieces, and you can go through each individual section and sort of highlight it and make sure you have what you want. Then you've got your arms and hands. Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to keep these near the face because, once again, it should be roughly the same color. Your pants would be here, along with the bottom part of your pants. Your shoe stuff will be here. Probably put the belt and shoes near each other. As long as you know where everything is, that's what matters. And then this is your shirt. And that's it. All right, cool. So, save your work. We sliced up. Made sure we had good green lines. We're going to do some welding tomorrow, and then we'll be relaxing stuff. And that's basically it. So thanks for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.